Hey everyone, it's Kristin, and today we are working on our second video for our Handmade Holiday series, and this one is special. This is a project that I've been doing for years, but I've never actually shared it on my channel. It's a craft project, and it will make you very popular with whomever you give it to. It's what I call captured memories, and it is essentially photographs in a jar, but they're not easy to share on camera, so I'm going to do my best to show you what this looks like in camera, and it is going to move a bit, but typically it would not. This is a photograph, a black and white photograph of our daughter and her first day at the beach. This is sand that I have from a craft store, and these are actually shells that we collected that day. As you can tell, there are embellishments, there's some Swarovski crystals, and this is an example of what we can do for any special occasion. Weddings. Has anybody gotten married lately? Well, here's an example of the very first one I did. And this is actually of me and my husband on our wedding day. This is full of seed beads, a black and white photograph of our wedding, and if you can see it, kind of, there's an example of what you can do for weddings. So what you'll need is a jar. Now I get these at discount stores. Here's a beautiful jar that we're going to be using today. You can use anything. You can use mason jars. I've done it with bubble gums inside. Bubblegum inside, and all sorts of things that relate to the photograph you're working with. So that's what we're going to be doing. Captured memories in a jar. I hope you enjoy the process, and as always, thanks for coming along. Hey there, it's me. As I share with you some of the supplies that we'll be using to make this particular jar, it occurred to me that it would really be beneficial if you could see some photographs of some I've done in the past. So I pulled out some old pictures so that you can see various ways in which you can create your own captured memories. Are you ready? Here we go. And there we have it. From that slideshow, you can see the variety of images and things that you can put within the jar. I've used clip art, I've used a lot of original photographs, and I've used things like this, which is copies from vintage photographs. It just depends on what sort of vibe you're going for. Now, I chose this little guy in the end, and one thing that's important is to remember that when you're creating your jar, it's 360. So you have to make sure that the back is as beautiful as the front. I do that by using a spray adhesive. You can certainly use another kind of glue, but a spray adhesive does not create any lumps and bumps. It's very smooth and the adhesion is really strong. So once you've sprayed the back to the front, you're going to fussy cut around the entire image. Now here's a tip from mistakes I've made in the past. You don't want to do them separately. You don't want to create one and then the other and then try to perfectly sandwich them together. It's best to glue them together first and then cut them as one. Now the next step is to figure out, as you can see I'm doing it here, exactly how to put that little guy in the jar. Now a great tip is to use a game piece. If you can raid your kids' games or go to various garage sales, I always pick up old game boards and game pieces for this very thing. But since we don't have one, we're making our own. You could tell it's a series of folds just to make sure that we have a flat surface that we could then adhere to the bottom of the jar. Our little guy is ready to be glued down, and I'm using E6000 for that. I'm going to apply it to the base that we just created, and then I'm going to take the whole thing and glue it to the center of our jar. But when I'm thinking placement, I am cautious of a couple of things. First of all, if you're using a glass like I am that has etching, I want to make sure that the face is shown despite the etching. So I'll arrange it in such a way that you can see everything easily. I'm also going to put it in the center of the jar, but I'm going to cheat it a little bit towards the front. So the placement will be a little bit front and center. Now we're adding whatever we've chosen to include in our jar, and in this case you can see there's some pearlized beads. The great thing about adding anything next, your beads or your seed beads or your sand or your bubble gums, you will find that they also give you structure. They help to hold up your image. So that's what we're doing now. We're adding all of the little beads and bauble that will end up sparkling in our jar. It's almost like a little hide and seek, a little treasure hunt for our captured memory. See how quick and easy this is? We're almost done. The final step is just to add something special to the top, and in this case I'm using a gray satin ribbon. I like the fact that it adds a little something extra, but it also balances out the project as a whole. I'm going to add a couple of decorative cuts to the side and an extra bauble in the center and call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you create your own captured memories. I have to tell you, I have one of these, the one of my wedding, on Pinterest, and it is the most pinned item I have there. And trust me, I've put up so much art since, but nope, always coming back to this jar and a set of dinosaur sheets. So I hope that your family loves it as much as I do. I hope you share the project with me if you try it out, and come back next week for a very special Handmade Holiday Artist collab. I'll see you then.